bombed the hospital in Gaza? Why is Rashida Tlaib lying? There were insurrectionists in the Capitol today. Why isn't the lamestream media reporting on it? And where is the FBI? Guys, I have so many questions, and we're going to try to get to the answers to them today on Speechless. Cut for time. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Speechless Cut for Time. I'm your host, Kev Phares, 22-year-old conservative college student out of Central Illinois, host of Speechless on Cities 92.9, the news and talk of Bloomington Normal. But I can't necessarily get to everything I want to cover on my radio show, and there's a lot of news that happens in the week. So to make sure you don't miss a minute of it, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, comment what you think, and share this with your friends, guys. Let's get everybody in on this conversation and make sure that they subscribe too. I'm almost to 1,000, so make sure you and they subscribe. Ring that notification bell to all. I'd really appreciate it. All right, let's get right on into this. There's a lot to cover with this, but out of the Daily Wire, we're going to start with this one. Far-left protesters with an anti-Semitic group stormed the United States Capitol on Wednesday, today, October 18th, to demand that Israel stop launching military strikes at the terrorists who were responsible for murdering more than 14,000 Israeli citizens last weekend. The group that held the event was Jewish Voices for Peace. It might be interesting because Jewish people, Israel, you'd think that they wouldn't want terrorism and wouldn't support terrorism. Well, they're so radical that even Democrats like Jerry Nadler were condemning them. Seriously. And who are they? Jewish Voices for Peace. Well, by their own admission, they are proud to be a part of the global Palestinian-led boycott, divestment, and sanctions movement, which basically calls for the elimination of Israel as a state. That's who these people are. So, once again, chickens for KFC, people. United States Capitol Police even began arresting protesters when they were told that they had to leave because they were not allowed to protest there in the place that they were in the rotunda, and they did not comply with the police officers. Let's take a look and a listen at a little bit of what was going on during these protests. Let us live is what they're chanting. Let us live. Here's other protesters. So here's the thing I want to start off with this one is there are protests inside and outside the Capitol every day, but there are designated protest areas. Why is this? So that you don't disrupt people doing their jobs, whether that's a congressman, which we all know that, especially right now without a Speaker of the House. But most of the time, Congress people are not usually doing their jobs anyways. But the idea is that there are specific protest areas. I get free speech and everything like that, but Congress people, news people, staffers, everything like that. There are specific areas that protests are allowed inside the building for the purpose of allowing people to try to do their jobs. Whether or not they actually do is still in question, but that's the point. But I have some questions as I see this, because they were protesting in an area that they weren't supposed to be. So where is the FBI? Why am I asking that? Where is the FBI? Well, while some might claim that January 6th, 2021 was more widespread through the building and had more crimes committed inside, and they might be right. They probably are. But I know people that were just in Washington, D.C. to see Trump speak on January 6th, 2021. Never went outside the Capitol, never went inside of it either, that had the FBI question them, come to their house and question them in Illinois. I had people that did that. I got a video on my channel that talked to one of them. You can go look at, you can go find that. I'll put it either at the end of this or up there, and you can go watch that. But had the FBI come to them for January 6th, when they didn't go inside the Capitol, weren't outside of it, were simply at the Trump rally. So, more questions for you guys. Is people refusing to leave an area of the Capitol that they are not supposed to be protesting in not also considered in some way an insurrection? If that's the word we're going to use, if that's the word that the left and the lamestream media will use for January 6th, is this instance also not considered some level of an insurrection? Saying, I am not going to leave this area that you are telling me I cannot be in a government institution? Is that not them also trying to take over part of a government institution, thus also being an insurrection? Or is it that people are only insurrectionists when they support Donald Trump? What is it? What is it? There's a lot of questions for y'all to chew on. I know not many answers, but maybe you have your own. But that seems to be the America we live in right now. A lot of questions and very few answers. Well, while this was happening, Rashida Tlaib, we all know her, the squad member, gave a speech, an emotional speech, everybody, an emotional speech outside of the Capitol to pro-Hamas demonstrators. Some of them I might be part of the same group. I'm not 100% sure. I think so. But let's take a look and a listen at what she had to say and the lies she's spreading. Lies, and I'm going to break them down.
Continue to watch people think it's okay to bomb a hospital with children. You know what's so hard sometimes is watching those videos and the people telling the kids don't cry. And like, let them cry. And they're shaking. And somebody, you know this, they keep telling them not to cry in Arabic. They can cry. I can cry. We all can cry. If we're not crying, something is wrong.
Well, she's crying a lot. And what she's discussing here, just so we're clear, is she is claiming she's blaming Israel. You can see the sign that she has, U.S. Jews say ceasefire in Gaza now. She's perpetuating this idea that Israel is to blame for a hospital that was bombed in Gaza. We're going to break that down a little bit, but let's listen to the rest of her statement.
And so I'm telling you right now, President Biden, not all America's with you on this one. And you need to wake up and understand that. We are literally watching people commit genocide and killing the vast majority just like this.
She's right. We are watching people commit genocide, and it's not Israel. I'll tell you. But
we still stand by and say nothing. We will remember this. But all of you, you need to know, I swear to God, Allah, you are on the right side of history. You are. You're doing everything possible to save lives. What is wrong with that? Stop it with trying to politicize this.
Trying to politicize this. And we're the ones trying to politicize it? Okay. No. And so what she was even condemning Biden for there is blaming Hamas in Palestine for the attack on the hospital in Gaza. Well, let's break this down a little bit, everybody, because that's the main focus. Rashida Tlaib is obviously I believe she's performative in a lot of what she does, and this is just another example. It's performative emotionalism. And we need to be crying. We hear you, sweetheart. But according to Reuters, which I thought did a very good job of breaking down both sides of what is being said regarding this hospital bombing in Gaza. A blast at a Gaza hospital killed hundreds of Palestinians just before U.S. President Joe Biden visited Israel as the conflict between the Israeli military and the Hamas militant group raged. So the question everybody's having is, who bombed the hospital in Gaza? So Israelis and Palestinians have blamed each other for the hospital bombing, which would make sense. Nobody wants to take credit for civilians dying in a hospital. Biden, who stood squarely behind Israel from the start of the conflict, said that based on the information he has seen, the hospital blast appeared to be a result of an errant rocket fired by a terrorist group, echoing Israel's view. Well, I'm not usually a very big believer in a lot of things Biden says, so let's break this down and get a little bit. What did Palestine have to say? Well, Palestine were the first people to make a comment about this. Take that for what you will. Some might believe that that's because being the first to make a statement makes it the one that'll get more attention and thus be the one that's considered more right. Who knows? But Palestine officials blamed Israel. Islamic Jihad, a Palestinian military group, is an ally of Hamas, denied any of its rockets that were involved in the blast, saying it did not have any activity in or around Gaza City at that time. Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh, I don't know if that's how you say it, but said that the United States was responsible, saying Washington had given Israel the cover for its aggression. So saying that it's America's fault is what this guy's saying. It's not even just Israel's fault, it's America's fault, who is, again, a Hamas leader. Interesting. And that's who Rashida Tlaib is siding with. The one that saying it's all America's fault. America's to blame for these civilian casualties. What did Israel say? Israel has denied it was to blame and said that the blast was caused by a failed rocket launch by Islamic Jihad. An Israeli military spokesman said that an analysis of the operational systems of the Israel Defense Forces indicated that a barrage of rockets was fired by militants in Gaza, passing in close proximity to the hospital at the time it was hit. Intelligence from multiple sources we have in our hands indicates that Islamic Jihad is responsible for failed rocket launch. For the failed rocket launch, which hit the Gaza hospital. A military spokesperson said that there was no structural damage to the buildings around the hospital and no craters consistent with an airstrike. The spokesperson said Hamas had inflated the casualty numbers and said the group could not know as quickly as it claimed what caused the blast. The military has released an audio file and a transcript of what is said to be a conversation between two Hamas militants saying Islamic Jihad rockets had misfired. It was not possible to verify the material independently from Reuters. Well, many in the news media, like they're kind of saying, and pro-Hamas pundits are claiming the audio was faked. It was faked. But even if it was, even if that were the case, the United States investigation even led them to blame Hamas, United States intelligence. Adrian Watson, a spokesperson for the National Security Council, said, while we continue to collect information, our current assessment based on analysis of overhead imagery, intercepts, and open source information is said that Israel is not responsible for the explosion at the hospital in Gaza yesterday. So who bombed the hospital? Was it Israel because Palestine said so? Or was it Palestine because of the litany of evidence we've been shown from both United States intelligence and Israel intelligence that would confirm that it was Palestine or Hamas? And if that's not enough for you, let's take a look at this video that shows Hamas taking out water pipes to build rockets. Yes, for real. This is Hamas taking out water pipes to build rockets. Take a look and a listen right here. So while it is from back in 2021, once again, this is an example of Hamas taking out, I don't know if I misspoke earlier, but this is an example of Hamas taking out water pipes to build rockets. So these terrorists would rather kill Israelis than allow their civilians access to water. Meanwhile, Israel gave ample warning that they would be attacking Gaza and urged civilians to leave the area. What I'm trying to say here is that it's clear Hamas and Palestine are to blame. We have one side that committed a terrorist attack with no warning, anything like that, on civilians. And then we have another side that said, hey, civilians, please leave. We don't want to go after you. We want to go after the terrorists. That's who we're fighting here. So which side do you think is the one that could be to blame for civilian casualties in that hospital? We have a sitting U.S. Congresswoman as well, Rashida Tlaib, who is blatantly lying and siding with Hamas over the United States. Siding with Hamas, who blames the United States and hates the United States. So to me, Rashida Tlaib, what you're saying there, what you're doing is borderline treasonous. Siding with an anti-United States group. And also condemning the president, as much as I condemn the president for a litany of things, but condemning the president with his United States intelligence. But you're going to trust the terrorists. And then she went on to stoke essentially an insurrection in the United States Capitol, at least by definition of the societal definition that we've given to it because of January 6th. Where is the FBI? Who bombed the hospital? I kind of have an answer for that one. What are we doing? What are we doing? Make it make sense, everybody. Please make it make sense. It's dark times we're living in, and I know. And the lamestream media probably won't even cover a lot of the protests and a lot of the lies that Rashida Tlaib is saying. But I'm still going to be honest with you guys, at least from everything that I can see, all the evidence that I have. So please don't forget to continue supporting this channel, like this video, subscribe to the channel, comment what you think. Let's all get everybody involved in the conversation and share this video with your friends so we can do just that. Please, guys, thank you so much. God bless you. God bless America. And until next time, please, God bless America. Seriously, God bless America. And until next time, you've been watching Speechless. Cut for time. Thank you.